Hi, and welcome to C&T Collectibles. I am C. Hope you're doing well today. And this is Friday Sports Card Chart Blast, where we look at the price action of our favorite collectibles. Price is truth. Doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter what you think. It just matters what everyone else thinks. So we should be relevant and have a say in that as well, shouldn't we? So anyways, here we go. Mike Trout, PS 810. As Mike Trout goes, so goes the market for the most part. So you've kind of got the leaders, where the legends, where you've got the Pujols, Cabrera, throw Mookie in there, Mike Trout, they're going to do their own thing. But the rest of the market is going to follow to an extent, although they can break away from time to time. And we'll show a couple of those here. Long-term uptrend is broken, but we're flattening out in an area where there's been lots of buying before. People think that this price is okay, and I agree with them. The prices were compressing lower, as we saw last week. And with Cabrera, Pujols, Mookie kind of breaking below their consolidation as well, said, wouldn't surprise me if Mike Trout poked his price down into this range really quickly, and that's what happened. Brought itself back up to the top of the range here, so the trend is still down. The momentum is still negative. We'll see if we can get some more buyers to step in. They don't have to rocket it up or anything like that. Just pay what these people have been paying and break this downtrend. That would be a good sign that we can consolidate and grind our way higher as he comes back from injury and adds to his legacy. All right, Mike Trout in the Bowman Chrome draft. Kind of the same thing, grinding lower here. It's in a well-defined range, and it's at the bottom of the range. And what I like about this is you're starting to see multiple purchases here. We're not seeing a situation where it's like one purchase rockets at top to the range or anything like that. We're seeing multiple people buying here, so there's a little bit more conviction in that particular card. Vlad, missing no number. No number. There it is. Trend is still up. Bottom of the range with a nice little bump here. Still traveling upwards. You can see momentum is flattening out just a little bit here. So as the prices are kind of in the same range here, momentum is slowing down just a little bit. So the trend is up until it isn't. But you can see that things are thinning out just a little bit. And the question we need to ask ourselves here is the current price of nearly $300. Is Vlad a generational type player? Is he worth more than what is Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Machado, all those guys? So yeah, right now he is, but over the course of the long term, I'm not sure. So, but the trend is up, no fighting it here. Same thing with the Chrome, the trend is up, and it's at the bottom of the range, which has been worth a buy in the past year. But if it leaks below this, you could see a quick move down. It could be a little bit sharp of a move actually. So manage your risk appropriately on that one here. But it did break this short-term support area, so it could get a little bit of a pop here, and this is a logical spot for it to do that. But you got to watch this one very closely, because just on valuation, I mean, value is what someone else is willing to pay for it, right? That's the essence of it. But for card purposes, you have to put him against other cards as well. And he's getting a little lofty with some people with a better, little longer track record here. So the update throwing PSA 10, bottom of the range through this one out, said, maybe people are going to look for an alternate version of the card. One of the big YouTubers, he had it on a live stream, said, I think people will look for it. He goes, it's an ugly picture, it's not a rookie card. And I don't disagree, but I think we're supposed to try and make some money here. So nice rip here. Now you're getting to the top of the range. So do with that what you will. Juan Soto tops update with a nice move up here into this resistance area and coming back off. It was a little too fast on that particular sale, so a lot of accumulation here. Still like it a lot. He's terrific. We know the drill on that one here. So as long as it holds the bottom of this range and curls up, we'll take another run at this one, and eventually maybe that 280 price target here. But the momentum looks good on that particular Soto. The Chrome, we had our sale in here, but now you're in a decent buy zone. And a couple of sales again, little bit too quick. So right now you're looking at like 320 on the upside, 220 on the downside. If you can get something in that 220, 250 area, it's probably a better price for now if you are looking for that particular card. And the Bowman's best in a PSA 10 with a nice rocket here. Recovered a little bit quicker than some of the other Sotos. So leading indicator, not, I don't know, but it is near the top of the range. The other Sotos are coming off just a little bit here, so I would expect the same off of that one. Risk reward is unfavorable at the time, but as far as getting these bargain prices on them, probably not. In here, yeah, maybe. So keep your eye on that one. Excuse me. Fernando Tatis, 2019 tops PSA 10 bottom range coming up, hitting this resistance area again. Momentum looks good, but if there was a little bit of a profit taking from private people in this area, it probably wouldn't surprise me. But the way he's going and the way he probably goes over the next few years, wouldn't surprise me to see this again break out and make its way back into this area where, again, there's a lot of transactions and people are willing to pay that particular price for that particular card. There, we got it. All right, Fernando Tatis, Topps Chrome update. Trend is up. We had a little break here Instead, is this the end of the, is this a sign of a little bit bigger things to come? And it snuck back into the range, but we did get our a tag of this zone area here. So is that enough? I don't know. The trend does remain kind of downish, but again, a lot of buying in this area. So I think we'll just maybe we grind sideways, and anytime it does come into this area, it'll be likely quick. So if you're able to act quickly and get that particular card at a little better price, go for it. But I think most sales will probably hang out in this area with a few outliers here and there. Shohei Ohtani, Topps update, pitching, red jersey, trend is up. Momentum is extended on this one, coming off the top of the range here at a pretty decent support zone, and he's on MVP track for this year. So you could see, who knows, you could see some buying come in, but again, that price, we had that 260, 270 target, got exceeded that, so that's it, leaving it alone here. Not too interested. Now you're back down to 217, so it is volatile. Could come down further into this 160, 170 area if this breaks. So manage accordingly, but this is an area where buying has stepped in just a little bit in the past here. Topps update, batting, top of the range coming off, and again, it's getting really thin in this area here, so it may not want to mess with it. If you do happen to want to make a sale, there's not a lot of people willing to pay that price is the problem with it. So it's easy to say, oh yeah, buy and sell and take profits, but the sellers are getting overwhelmed pretty quickly. Hopefully it's yours that gets sold, but there's no guarantee of that. Ronald Acuna breaking down his longer term trend here, but recovering a little bit, and so you can see that the momentum is flattening out again. We've seen that before, and it hasn't crossed over, which has kept us out since about 250, which has been nice if you're trading that one. But again, the trend is slightly sideways to down here. Recapturing this is good, and it came into an area where there's been buying, but we'll see how this go. How far out of sight, out of mind is he? So again, the trend does remain down overall, and you're kind of up against the top of it here. Again, with very little clarity on his injury and recovery, and expect it to go well. Just a card that I'm probably not doing anything with at the time. Excuse me. Update, Ronald Acuna at bat, blue jersey, PSA 10. Did we just do this one? Closer look at it. That's what I was looking at before. I'm like, what is this chart here? This is what this chart is. So trend is down. So yeah, so I balled it on last one. I did mark it up for myself here. So it's like Marty McFly, future self, leaving notes for me or something like that. Chad, you're going to talk about this here. Let me just throw this chart in here so you can help yourself out a bit. It's like, I appreciate that, future Chad. So, or past Chad, or however that goes. So time travel movies, always a goofy thing here. Top of the range, so we'll see if it can punch up here. Again, very thin volume, so my guess is that it comes back down just a little bit in the next couple of sales here. Acuna, Chrome. Trend is still down. Bottom of the range here, getting a little bit of a lift here, so maybe there's a little bit of upside. Just mark this as your line in the sand if you're doing anything with that card at the time being. Rafi Devers, the Chrome, putting in a new high, but coming quickly back in, and so when that happens, this is pretty thin volume stuff, so you'll come back to an area where there's more normal buying here, so 70, 80 bucks, currently sitting at $89, or you go to the bottom of the range, which is 50 or 60 bucks, which I think would be an absolute steal for what that guy's doing and the path that he's on. Ozzy Albies, same thing. He'll just grind it out for a long time. It'd probably be awesome. So the trend, you can see your risk and reward is pretty well defined here. And we had a pop off of this range and consolidation and a breakdown. And if you get another crack at 30 bucks and you don't have an Ozzy Albies, maybe that's a card to consider. Eloy's back, and then he left again. So he came back, and there's been some buying on that one. We've had this area marked on the regular the paper version, that $30, $40 area. So just look at the Chrome for here. So it's coming back to the top of the range, and that groin injury isn't going to help things. So maybe we'll see a drop from Eloy in the near future. Lupa breaking his downtrend, $50 price target on that one. Well, on the paper one again, but the Chrome kind of does the same thing, just different numbers overall. So the trend is up here. So when you sneak out of these ranges again, you tend to drop back in pretty quickly here, but the trend is largely up. So he's just retesting the previous downtrend on that one. So we'll see how that plays out. But if he comes out and starts swinging, then he'll make his way back up to, in the paper version at least, I don't have the numbers for this one, but he could get back up to that $90 or $100 range. Alex Bregman, I think we covered him last week, and so I threw him in here again, apparently. So trend is remaining down, and it's coming off the top of its range. I think he was sitting up there last week, and so there's your drop. So the trend, respect it till it doesn't work, I guess. So Cody Bellinger continues to grind lower. This is a nice reversal wedge at some point, so we'll see what happens when he comes back, but sitting at the top of the range, so nothing to do with it right now. But if it revisits these lows and you want a belly, then there you go. And Joey Gallo finishing up baseball. We had him in our 3 up, 3 down about almost exactly a month ago, and so I think that's an interesting spot. But his long-term track, doesn't really lead to. He's more of a trading basket type of guy who could have some really awesome seasons, and a lot of people are speculating that he will do that with the Yankees. And so there's been a lot of purchasing today, as a matter of fact. On that trade news, and took it all the way up from $5 to, there's a couple of sales in that $14 area that aren't even reflected on here, back down to that $10 or $11 range. So his floor might be higher with the Yankees in that $7 area, but if you were buying in here, when we again, I don't give specific buy seller. I really try not to. So if I say it's interesting, take that. But that's they're buying the news, so or they're buying the rumor. So sell the news on that one. So a little too much too quick. There's a lot of people that are buying that card, but I don't think that's the price, at least for right now. Michael Jordan, again, just basketball here. Momentum is rolling up like it is for most of the basketball names here, hitting this area of previous resistance. Now it is support and just grinding its way sideways. So you've got some sales at like 8,500 and some sales at like 10,000. So it's a volatile range, but if you're looking for this particular card, that $8,000 range seems to be holding pretty well for now, and that momentum is turning up. So LeBron James tops Chrome, momentum again turning up in the near term here. So it's struggling with this resistance area. It's tagged it a few times, but that's a pretty decent bottoming pattern that does measure to, if this does break out, maybe 27,000 or so, which is this line here. So on the breakout, if you could just check all your pants pockets. If you got $20,000 laying around here, maybe that's an interesting version of that card. All right, one of the greatest airline pilots in history who made a little extra money on the side as a basketball player, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So consolidation in this area here, getting a nice bounce off of support. So here, if is this a continuation to go higher, or does it break lower, bringing it down to here? But at least we've got our boundaries marked if you want to day trade Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which who wouldn't want to do something like that? So Luka Doncic trending down still, top of the range. So nice bottoming pattern here. Momentum is turning up. I'd like to see it break this downtrend. So I'm gonna test it again here. At some point it probably does, but. For now, you're at the top of the range, risk reward unfavorable, and it could be $820. So this area was like 680 or 700. So there could be a little bit of downside on this one in the near term. We'll see. But if it breaks out and holds it, then look at $1,000 pretty easily. So. All right, Giannis. This was one of the easier sell calls. I think everybody and their mom made a video on sell Giannis after that spike. So hopefully you listened. Even Haas in the comments is like, "Oh my gosh, how many Giannis's are for sale on eBay right now?" It's like, yeah, you know how that ends. So coming back into an area that now, if you want a Giannis, you don't buy that. But if you're interested, here you go. This is where enough other people are interested in as well. That's probably the bottom. So getting very close to an area where it's just going to retest and find that area where people have been willing to buy in the past. And Chris Paul looking at a little topping pattern here, and it broke and said, you got some decent downside at least to this $600 area. So did come close to that and got a bit of a lift here, but be careful on this one. If it drops, it could really drop fast. And his recent performance isn't inspiring a ton of confidence, but his long-term record, you should probably do something. Devin Booker, cards got rocked as well. So breaks this, you're looking for a couple $100 lower, $500-600. So bottom of the range here. If you're looking for that card, your risk reward sets up favorably. And Karl Anthony Towns had this break as well, looking for sub $200 and got that briefly. So the trend is down. Risk reward is unfavorable at this time, but you are in an area where buying should potentially start to come in a little bit, especially if there's some news surrounding him if he gets traded, because the Wolves are dumb and that's what we do. So all right, Trae Young continues to trend lower. So looks like a good buying spot here. Could be a good buying spot here. I don't know. The trend is continues to grind lower, but with the rest of the market kind of firming up and turning up, then this might represent a pretty good value overall, because he hasn't really started to rocket up with the rest of them. While some of these other guys flattened out and started to curl up, he's continued to make new lows, and so he went with the rest of them, but he made a new low while the other players weren't. So Tom Brady football, looking at the bottom of the range last week, said decent possibility of a bounce, and we got a possibility of a bounce, and I was back in the range, so look for some potential lower prices, but maybe it firms up in here. We'll see how that plays out, but for now, outside the range does bring you back into maybe that lower boundary. Patrick Mahomes, 27 Donruss, 2017 Donruss Raider rookie. I like that card a lot. So bottom of the range, getting a pop. Now you're at the top of the range. So very low volume on this one. So we'll see what happens on that. My best guess is he comes back down into this area, but we'll if enough people are getting hyped for football season, maybe it busts out and holds there. So Tua. Pretty well defined trend here. So off the range, off the top of the range, and coming back down to the bottom of the range. So just for football purposes, I'm not super excited about it. For card purposes, it seems like that's not the worst deal in the world. Aaron, bottom of the range here. So maybe there's a little bit of downside, a couple $100, but it seems like this is a relatively decent price for a surefire Hall of Famer, and he's going to come back and add to his legacy. If this can't hold, then you're looking at $400 or $500. So there's your risk management on this one. And Jordan Love, not getting a whole lot of love lately because he's not going to be playing this year. Well, for now anyway. So top of the range coming up just a little bit here. This is the raw version, so it's going to get moved around a lot more than other cards because it's under $20. So it could be wild mood swings, but people are respecting the trend, and it's kind of in the middle of the range. Not a whole lot to do on that one. If it gets down in here, Sports Cards Anonymous says people forget about it. It'll present a better buying opportunity, and I agree with them. And so if you can get that better opportunity in like $15, then there you go. So, all right, Derrick Henry, skill position players, got to give him a little bit of love here. Trend is slightly up, and you've got a nice consolidation here, closer to the lower boundary. Christian McCaffrey, PSA 10, so in a zone where there's been some buying before, and this compression usually does lead to upside breakouts, and there could be some decent upside here, especially if he gets the season off on the right foot. Even if he gets off on the left foot, I think he'd be all right. So he's a pretty good runner. And Tiger Woods, finish it up with Tiger Woods, PSA 10. Trend remains down, but we're in an area of a lot of buying in the past here. So it tagged the bottom of that range and quickly got scooped up here. So I think buyers are getting anxious and anticipating, these. Whenever these drops happen, they're just ready to swoop in. So not a buying here. Let's see if we can get a lot of buying here on that Tiger Woods card. So again, you can see these low volume moves, how they get smacked down pretty quickly. So just pay attention to those, and you don't need to draw fancy lines or anything like that. Just big moves. Just sell them. There you go. So, or buy them if they're the other direction. So that's what I got for you. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.